to use AI. This has literally democratized access to information. If they aren't embracing it, they're at high risk.
Yeah. This is what everybody in L&D has been waiting for, something which puts you at the forefront of a business direction. It is going to impact you, your business, your role. So therefore embrace it.
Hello and welcome to Generating, the brand new podcast from Mediazoo in partnership with the LPI. Today I'm joined with LPI CEO Ed Monk
Ali.
and Mediazoo CEO Giles Smith.
Hi, Ali.
How are we both?
Tremendous.
Yeah,
We have to be here. You drive me away from the event, so you must be the VIP here, I think.
This is the best part.
Yeah. Let's find out.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure you should say that to the guy who's running the event. But yeah, on the other side, yeah, it is. I agree.
You make a good point, Giles. I take it back. We're at LPI Learning Live. How's it all going today for you guys?
Well, from my perspective as a attendee, I thought the first session was great. I think the way Microsoft framed AI and the movement forward gives it a real sense of purpose that you can aim towards something. I think these movements often need that. So for me, really innovative. There's a great attendance here. There's also a great atmosphere. And I think one of the big things people are bringing is a real sense of curiosity. And I think that's what we need in today's ever-changing world.
I think today's probably the personification of the existential crisis that L&D is in. So this is the day when things need to change. I don't think it's a coincidence, only to be honest, that we only launched this event in January and it's oversubscribed. So it's a 350 capacity here. There's 500 people registered for the event. The turnout is much higher than normally going to drop out. This is the hot topic.
In terms of the changes you've seen AI make within the L&D industry, do you see that slowing down at any point, or?
Absolutely not. I think Simon Lambert, Eileen and Learning from Microsoft were on this morning, weren't they? And we were both saying, I said in my opening session, they said it in their session, Microsoft's the biggest publicly owned company in the world. The AI is changing while we are in the session. So I do think you'll get a bit of AI fatigue. People like, I can't keep up with everything. But frankly, no, it won't stop. It won't disappear. It's going to be part of our lives. I don't want to say we need to learn how to live with it. I think very positive about it. I think how can we use it to make lives better, improve things.
What's really at stake for someone who hasn't really jumped on the AI train?
Well, I've been hard pushed to find somebody who hasn't jumped on the train, even if they don't realise.
Yeah.
I think AI has crept into all of our lives at every level. I mean, you just go onto Google now and do a search, and I know Microsoft talked about, do you even use the browser anymore? And the first thing you get back is an AI variation of what you've been searching for.
Yeah.
So it's almost crept up on us. To come back to your previous question before I tackle that, I think AI is the biggest single event that will change learning for the better over the coming years. For me, learning has fundamentally struggled to make an impact in businesses. And actually, it's needed something to come along that can actually engage people and drive curiosity, drive a sense of change. And it will enable people to learn at a much higher level, a much faster pace, and much more effectively. And learning has best been stuck in a range of classroom-based training and digital-based content that hasn't really inspired learners to care. AI will change that. And for me, that is a real opportunity for learning to jump on at the highest level in businesses and really start to influence the way organizations improve and become more effectively. So anybody in AI who's not on the journey is not only going to get left behind, they're literally going to find themselves overtaken by much more effective organizations that can drive real cultural change and attract the best employees and create the best employees. So for me, anybody in learning should truly be embracing this industrial change, revolution, if you like, and look at how you can embrace these new opportunities to develop and learn yourself and your people.
I couldn't put it better. It's a call to arms speech, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't like the narrative of fear. AI is going to take our jobs. It's completely the opposite if you look at it in a better way, right? So let's just frame it differently. I've worked in learning and development for 3 decades. At the beginning, it was about how the internet could change learning and development. A lot of fear then.
Yeah.
Content's going to be online. What's happening to the trainers? Those trainers became instructional designers, started creating content.
Yeah.
It's a change again. So I think it's absolutely amazing. I'll give you an example, Ollie, right? So my son is 19 years old. He's doing banking and finance at Newcastle University. He's not a developer. He's not an AI expert by any stretch of the imagination. He's just received his curriculum for his second year at uni, right? And he's downloaded the curriculum, pushed it through generative AI, created an AI agent as a teacher, and it teaches him for an hour a day, every day over summer. By the end of summer, he will have gone through the whole curriculum for the second year in a way that is framed for him to learn. So it's not like a tutor generically teaching a student, because he's got the memory switched on. It knows about him, so he can relate it. Hi, I'm back from my 3rd session. Hi, great. How did the driving lesson go? Hope it went well. Let's crack on.
Yeah.
So you've got that familiarity with an AI agent.
And I think certainly that personalization is really strong, because actually contextualizing it and what you know, how you learn, what's relevant to you. I think I heard the example about the maths teacher. I forget the name of the business now, but they have this maths content that's backed by Microsoft, and they built their AI in there, and they were teaching maths on this one particular side about this kid who was really keen on football, and they were scenarioing everything in football. Okay, so what would happen? How would you work that angle out? And it's that context that makes it really relevant and makes it interesting, and being interested in what you're learning is really important for it to learn. I was just going to add to that. I think one of the things AI is really shifting on is, and I think why there's a little bit of fear for some people, particularly older generation, is that actually being the knowledgeable person is no longer a real asset. Because actually we've all got access to extensive knowledge now. So skills become really important. So everybody's ability to be able to rapidly upskill themselves and apply knowledge becomes a lot more important than just having the knowledge. And therefore you get shifts in organizations about where really the influences start to lie. And that creates fear and uncertainty for people. And I think in itself, some people will be slow to embrace or unenthusiastic. I think we were talking about earlier, why aren't people adopting it? It's because actually there's a real fear about what's it going to mean to them. Do I have the skills? Can I learn the skills to move forward? And that's particularly if you're towards the back end of your career, developing new skills before you retire can be quite a scary prospect. So we've got to be able to help those people to make sure they retain their value in organizations.
Yeah, that's true. I would say, I think 2 great quotes to back that up, right? Lifelong learning is the ultimate pension.
Yeah.
So it's now, you just have to keep going.
Yeah.
Okay. I was in the House of Lords the other day, name drop. Nice. And I made the mistake of saying in the House of Lords, there's no such thing as a job for life anymore.
Yeah.
Obviously, they are a lifetime of his.
Yeah.
I suppose. So they said, well, apart from this one, of course. But for everybody else, you're on this journey all the time. So I think if you want to maintain gainful employment, you have to keep learning. That's the first one. Charles Jennings, one of the great kind of thinkers in learning, great quote from him, pre-Gen AI or pre-ChatGPT, November 2022, he said, accessibility has replaced knowledge retention as power within business. So what he was arguing is, we don't need to remember everything anymore because we can get the answers.
Yeah.
What does that mean then for leaders? Because to Giles's point, this idea of, we're both CEOs, but the modern CEO doesn't have to be, thankfully, omniscient. You're not the fountain of all knowledge. You might not even be the most experienced person in the business. Those aren't the skills that are required for the modern CEO. I invented a word the other week, learnership, which is like a combination of learning and leadership. And I think the modern leader has to be humble, accept that they don't know everything, but be able to engender an amazing culture where everybody's driven to the same purpose.
Yeah.
So completely different.
I think if you come into leadership now thinking you're either the expert in the field or thinking that you are the only person with the answers, you very quickly lose your team. And, Long said that people leave managers, they only leave businesses.
Yeah.
And I think that'll accelerate in this space. Leadership now is definitely shifting towards people, culture, enablement. And typically in moments like this, it's about making bold decisions. okay, we're going to embrace this new technology, we're going to take it forward, and this is how you're going to benefit from it. At Mediazoo, we coined the phrase AI powered by creativity, which really accepts that AI is a big part of what we do as a content agency, but it's also powered by our people, their ideas, their emotions, their processes. And I think that got everybody on board for the journey. Would you agree?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I just wanted to ask you guys, that belief that AI is driven, as we say, by our creativity and that focus on skills, do you think companies nowadays are prioritizing training their workers in a way in which they could apply said skills?
In a way in which they can upskill? Probably not. So the perennial problem for learning and development people, as in for 30 years, has been demonstrating impact. So it's a cost center in most companies. 320 CEO, and they'll look at that as a cost line on their budget, not, oh yeah, if we invest more in learning, we're going to make more money. Okay, but actually, in a skills economy, it is true. If you invest in developing your people, the company will perform better. It's never been as easy to do that as it is now. That is, to Giles's point earlier, generative AI in particular, has created this massive opportunity for learning to suddenly be one of the most important functions in business, because it can drive retainment of people, it can drive upskilling at the point of need, it can also drive learning if it does it right, and we're going to hear from lots of people here today, will drive efficiency and productivity. And if you do that, trust me on this one, everybody's happy. Everybody's happy if we're productive and the company's growing. You then attract the best talent as well, and it's an exponential growth of positivity and performance. So this is, to me, this day represents the beginning of everything being different and better for learning and development. And the cartel of companies selling the same thing, mass content libraries that maybe people aren't accessing as much, it's gone. It's totally gone.
And thankfully, despite some of my colleagues and friends being in that space, I think content that you can't find everything you're looking for, that ultimately isn't contextualized, isn't always relevant to that particular business need, ultimately doesn't have an impact. And I think it fuels the vision that learning doesn't bring value. And I think learning is seen still very much as transactional. You can read pretty much any CEO report. They'll talk about the importance of people, the importance about skills, the importance about developing for the future. I don't believe fundamentally learning has ever given them a better opportunity to demonstrate how it can make a difference. Until now, it doesn't make a difference. It's too much of learning is still considered to be wasted scrap learning that doesn't actually change a behavior or impact the business performance. And I think as a community of learners, and I've been in this industry for 30 years, we should all accept that actually so far we haven't managed to solve the fundamental problem of how do you tie learning and business performance together to ensure that actually learning becomes a contributor to the success of an organization and not just another thing that has to happen in an organization. And the last sort of industry to do that effectively was probably the IT industry, when it went from really not being impactful and it being not a computer on everybody's desk to suddenly changing the way we communicate, we engage, and we connect with our audiences both inside and out. And learning's got to find that same path. And for me, this is a fantastic opportunity to do it, which we should all be embracing.
Can I raise a note of caution on that? There is risk, right, with this, in that it can be something can be so convenient that convenience becomes the driver, right? So if you take what happens in terms of buying groceries, right? So decades ago, it would be that you would go to a butcher's, maybe a grocer's, there'd be a different shop. Then there's a corner shop. Oh, that's good. Like, convenience store and everything's there. Supermarket, hypermarket, delivery within the next 10 minutes. This is amazing. And yet, where I live, in a town called Altrincham, it was voted the worst town in the country in 2008 because they built a huge Tesco's there, right? And it destroyed the community and all the different shops that were there. But it was a market town, and it is a market town. And somebody had the idea to regenerate the market and make it into one of those, benches everywhere, artisan stalls around. It re-energized the whole area, and it is now the role model for making a market, or what was the center of a town historically, back to being the center. Exactly a decade later, It won best town centre, best place to live. So it went from the worst to the best because it went back to its principles. And what are you buying there?
Yeah.
£4.90 sourdough, things like that, overpriced bread. But I'll pay it because the experience of going to this lovely place, it's worth a little bit extra. I talk about the convenience efficacy paradox. Don't just be driven by convenience. Think, well, is this going to have an impact? Right? And I think the bridge that you have to have between convenience and efficacy is, and I mean this sincerely, meaningfulness. Is it a meaningful experience? It might be that it's giving me the answer really quickly, and that's meaningful. It might actually be that it's a course.
Yeah.
It could be a classroom training course.
And I think that's where the L&D professional has a really important role to play.
Yeah.
You know, I think you have to look at when we use the tools, whether it be AI or any other tool, how we're going to deploy that. Is it a standalone intervention? Is it actually something that comes as part of a wider piece?
Yeah.
And I think that's the role we play. It's a shift from actually having to be the ones who create all the content and try and be super creative and come up with a big plan to actually using the tools that are available to produce content that really makes a difference at that moment. And I think there is going to be a period, and I think you can already see it in the supplier side of the L&D business, where actually loads of tools come into the market, loads of ideas. I mean, I would suspect most of them will disappear very, very quickly, almost as fast as they arrived, until we nail down actually what are the real ones that can make a big difference and can be used and can complement the human side of learning. I made the comment on my LinkedIn post actually when I went to see Robbie Williams, which, you know, was a change from my normal choice of music. But actually the experience was so good, I wasn't so worried about the music, no offense, Robbie, but it was such a great experience. And you cannot get that from AI. You can't get that human emotional intervention in that way. And I think learning still has to bring that because people still have to care about wanting to learn.
Well, if you take the music industry and compare it to learning and development, it is similar.
Yeah.
So, you know, you can we've all got smartphones. We can get any music that we want, listen to it immediately.
Yeah.
Live stream, 4K, surround sound speakers at home. So why are people still going to row 36 in a stadium? Because they want that meaningful experience. It means something. I hope we don't lose that in learning and development, just being driven by what's the fastest access.
Yeah, and for us, that, you know, as a provider in that space, and particularly a content provider, loads of great film production tools like Midjourney that can be used. But actually, there's still the human element that people associate to and connect to, that they can actually relate to, that AI probably won't bring through. I mean, I'm sure somebody out there will tell me it can. I've not seen it yet. I've not experienced it yet. And therefore, that's where the creativity, that's where that specialist skill comes through to really make that connection with the learner, with the person who's at the receiving end, who actually can walk away and go, oh my God, that was amazing. I've really taken something from that. And that's what we want learning to do, right? People go away and go, wow, I've taken something which has changed me, you know, me. Yeah,
changed.
Yeah, exactly.
You both raised some amazing points. My question to you both, and it might be considered a tough question, but I feel like some people might be thinking this. Do you think that some of the learning leaders today will still have jobs next year?
No. Absolutely not. 100% there will be people who won't have the jobs next year. So I happen to be the person that runs the professional body for workplace learning. And on their side, we're championing what they need to do. But there will be people, I think Microsoft said that over 10% of people in Microsoft are saying we're not interested in AI. Don't want to look at it. That's in Microsoft.
No.
So that's a lot. If learning leaders aren't embracing this, and I don't want the narrative to be a fear thing, but let's just get this out of the way. If they aren't embracing it, they're at high risk.
Yeah.
Right? So that's the challenge. But from a positive perspective, the opportunity to now really make a difference is unprecedented.
Yeah.
So it's not crazy. It's not overcomplicated. It's not like I have to, do so many courses to understand how to use AI. This is literally democratized access to information, and it's potentially democratized growth of intelligence in humans at scale like nothing else before. So why would you not want to be a part of that?
Yeah.
It's what every good learning leader would have dreamt of, quite frankly.
Yeah. I would expand that and say, I think it's true in L&D, learning professionals will lose their roles. I think it's true in every industry. I equally believe that if you embrace a desire to want to develop, grow, change, learn, however you want to position it, there will be new roles out there. There'll be new opportunities, and those opportunities will be more people orientated, more emotional orientated, and will actually bring us closer to our customers in many ways. And I think that if you're sitting in L&D thinking, I don't want to build content in AI, well, great, go and reskill and do something else, because this is your challenge. This is what everybody in L&D has been waiting for, something which puts you at the forefront of a business direction. And if you're not up for grasping it, then you probably should be thinking about something else anyway. For me, at Mediazoo, it's a hugely exciting opportunity that's really allowing our creatives to take something and drive it forward. And if I was sitting in a large corporate, I'd be really excited about what I could do within that space. Not to think about learning or training, but to think about how you evolve people's skills and enable them for the performance. Exactly.
Performance.
Yeah, hugely exciting.
I think it's incredible. I mean, I wish I was younger, but it's still incredible. And we're democratizing intelligence. We're creating, something is there which can help us drive performance like never before. It's not linked to one generation. Every generation can access this. I'm using it to grow myself,
Yeah.
A lot of people want to debate the kind of human intelligence versus artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
And are we just creating a kind of vanilla people, right? Where everybody's the same and we're all getting the same information. I think it's absolutely the opposite, right? So
How so?
the number one reason why 18 to 25-year-olds are using generative AI, what would you think?
I think I heard it was it a therapist?
Exactly. Oh, more than that, it's as a confidant.
Yeah.
It's their friend. So, if you split hypothetically, right, with a 20-year-old guy, you split up with your partner, guy, female or male, split up with your partner, and you're devastated. And you go in there and say, I'm really upset about this. It's personalized.
Yeah.
Don't worry about this. Remember last week, you didn't pass your driving test and you were really resilient. You'll get through this.
That's actually reminding me of something, because I heard you say that and I was like, oh, I would never do that. And then I realized there was a moment maybe last year where I literally asked for constructive advice in terms of based on what you know about me, what points do I need to work on? And it literally listed out a large list of personalized information, and it's able to pinpoint areas about me that I didn't even realize.
And how long have you been using it?
Probably about a year.
With memory?
Yeah,
The memory.
with memory. Yeah.
So imagine what's that is like in 5 years. Imagine the power that would have to really support you.
I don't want to finish on this point because I'm a big fan of AI, but if AI becomes a disconnect with people, i.e. people choose to talk to AIs rather than choosing to talk to each other, we have to remember that we lose a huge part of what being a human is. Collaboration, support. The thought that my son might seek counselling from an AI rather than coming and talk to me, it would be, I'm sure it probably does, because I've got to be honest, if he came to talk to me about splitting up his girlfriend, I wouldn't know where to start. But, I think that we have, again, it's about the skills we have to play as experienced CEOs and experienced leaders in whatever capacity has to be about finding the dynamic between maintaining people as we are and what we are, but also leveraging these tools to the best of our ability. So lean on them and learn from them and let them learn from you, but also let's not take away that really important part of human beings, which is interaction. They connect
And that goes beyond learning, Jack.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
That's about life in general.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was asked years ago, what's the magic equation for learning? And you try and avoid that question because it's always going to be weaponized, isn't it?
Yes.
You said that. And I just said it, people plus technology equals performance. I think it's that AI is great. It's even better when combined with humans.
Yeah.
Right? That would be my overall message.
Yeah, and I would look to that and the experience we've had and think about the LPI Air program you've watched today. And that awareness piece is really important because we decided to train everybody at Mediazoo and take everybody out of the workplace for a period of time to do that because it was apparent people were already using AI and were already using it potentially in ways that could be a risk for Mediazoo as well as an opportunity.
Yeah.
And for us, it was really important about let's get everybody on board. And the biggest shift we've received from that is, yes, the efficiencies and the better results. But actually, you might recall when the Adidas advert came out, there's a lot of internal chatter about, oh, this is a terrible advert and, oh, it's built in AI and you can tell the difference. Now everybody's been trained actually you get a completely different chatter when you look at it and people go, it's amazing, imagine what we can do with this. And that's because we've removed the fear. We've not gone, this is going to replace you guys. We've gone, this is how it can help you. And that has made a massive difference, and I think really started our AI journey in a very positive way.
Absolutely.
Good example, yeah.
So if I was to ask you guys both, just to wrap up, if you were to leave the audience with one sentence around the topic we've covered today, what would that be?
I think don't be scared, right? It's not as complicated as it looks, actually. Just start. You don't need to be the world's greatest AI expert to make a difference. Just have a go. And if you do, and you do start your learning journey, role model that for the rest of the organization, and you can make a real difference. Be brave, attack it, see what you can create, and listen to the business. Because I was saying this morning, top selling program for the LPI is performance consultants. It's a human course over 2 days, nothing to do with AI. So if you can combine those two things and have a really human organization driven by empathy and start to learn about AI, that is the answer to 2025, 26 success in learning and performance.
Love that. Giles?
I mean, he's not left me a lot of options now. I'm sort of feeling I need Perplexity now to give me some quick examples. I think I'd follow the path that Mediazoo's taken, which was recognize the fact that whether you like it or not, AI is here. It is going to impact you, your business, your role. So therefore embrace it, be brave with it, as Ed said, but also I think take others on that journey with you. And be really transparent about the journey you're going on. I think as leaders today, it's really important that we're honest and open about what we're trying to achieve and how we're going to get there. Don't try and sneak it in the back door and hope nobody notices. Be bold and take people on that journey and give them the understanding about how it can really enable them. And accept, yes, people are probably going to lose roles, but new roles be created in different industries, in different sectors, and really embrace that opportunity to take on new challenges.
Absolutely. Guys, Giles, Ed, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm just happy to be sat here. I'm hoping the success rubs off on me a little bit, you know. Yeah. CEO energy. Maybe, who knows?
So you better hope it comes from the audience.
Oh, that'd be great still.
Yeah, lovely to see you, Ollie. Yeah, and likewise, Ed, always a pleasure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like they said, be brave and embrace the change. I've been Ollie, and this has been Generating. Join us next time for more AI conversations.